it is that time of the year Nintendo have decided that now is the time to release both their big guns for this year. We've had Pokemon very recently, you've seen our review of that, but this one is Dairanto Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is, of course, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I've decided to bring in Jack, Mr. Head TO for S4 in, I would say, Australia, but definitely Victoria.
Yeah, some say.
Head of Couch Warriors.
Yep.
I figured you're probably one of the best people I can ask about the differences between the Smash games.
Well, I'm glad you've taken me on. I'm really excited to talk about the game.
So I guess maybe the main thing to discuss is how different it is from the way Wii U is set up. So a lot more single player content.
Yeah.
There are fundamental changes to the way the game actually plays. Let's cover the single player content first. Did you have a chance to play much of World of Light?
Yeah, I myself didn't have a lot of time to play World of Light, but what I did, it was like sort of like a totally different way to play events.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it's a way more interesting and varied way to play events, because with the spirits mode, there's like actual reasoning behind the things, and you just say, oh, Mario's turning, metal because of this, and it just makes those connections. It's pretty interesting.
And the gacha grind attached to it, at least it's an honest kind of gacha grind.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
totally.
So it's not like you have to buy spirits. It's not like you have to keep pumping money into it.
Totally.
You unlock them. Like combining two of them will unlock certain spirits, all that kind of stuff. And the actual like challenges themselves are usually themed. So it'll be like, oh, you unlocked this spirit, and they'll have like a Mii fighter dressed as that character.
Yeah,
Or they'll have like something to make it, to establish the connection between the two. Which is again, it's just a fun little way to waste time.
Any gacha game where you're not spending $1,000 on a JPEG, I'm pretty happy with myself.
I don't mind the grind. I hate to pay. You know what I mean? So if the grind is fair, and it's a fair grind, you know what I mean? Like you can put them in places to build up their stats and all that kind of thing. And obviously there are ways to battle with those kind of things. Then you also go into like, they have like a mode where you can pick certain battles, you can fight them once, and you have to win, and if you lose... You
lose it all, like almost like a bet system.
Yeah. So you have to wait until they come back in. There's other single-player modes as well, plenty of training modes. Unlocking characters is a bit different in this one.
Yeah, totally.
So it's based on time frame, so how much time you spend playing the game, as opposed to necessarily just running Mewtwo off a cliff for the next.
Yeah, for about 10 minutes. Yeah.
So how do you think that's going to affect the way people play it from that point of view?
Well, for me, like my entire Smash life, I've never played a competitive, like a Smash game whilst being competitive at the start. Yeah. I got into Smash 4 a bit later into its life. So I think it's going to be very different for those players that grew up with Smash, and like their idea of like unlocking characters is like, holy crap, Mewtwo's in this game? What the hell? I didn't even know. I think it's a lot faster, so you're going to be less inclined to look up like what characters are in it, for the younger kids at least, I think. So I think that's like a good way to balance the world of like internet that we have now and, unlocking things, so that there's just that tiny bit of, excitement.
A little bit of fun to go. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I guess the main one that and this is probably what we'll spend the most of the time discussing, is obviously the gameplay differences. And while it definitely feels like it's made on the same engine as 4, and I think they've all been on the same engine since Brawl, haven't they?
Since Melee, actually.
Since Melee, right, yeah. But it definitely still feels... It's related to 4, but it's still a very different game.
Yeah. It's like his cooler older brother.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like.
And so that's been our conversation. Obviously with 4, a lot of the Melee community didn't feel that it was fast enough, and they had their complaints about it and all that kind of stuff. And this, while it's probably not as fast as Melee again, it still feels like it brings enough new stuff to the party that it's its own game. Like is it a 4 or a 5? Is it a 4.5? Yeah. It's definitely a new game.
Yeah, I think just by the fact that they're shaking, like, just the way moves launch you, how much moves do, like how big they are, even that with the exact same like coat of paint is going to have a totally different feel from any other game. But on top of all those like character changes and differences, you've also got like awesome new like animations, which by the way are absolutely beautiful in this game. Like the animations, like Mario's cape, he does like a cool little thing, like it looks unbelievable. And I'm not one to be like salivating over like, graphics, but I honestly can't get over the character that all of these characters have.
And they do move their own way, they move uniquely, and it is one of those things where it's that triumph of animation over necessarily polygon count. Because obviously the Switch isn't the strongest console by far, but it like you say, even handheld it looks nice. Chuck it on the TV,
crazy.
it looks even better.
At a stable 60 FPS.
Yeah, which of course you need if you're going to have the competitive
it's a fighting game.
And that is the only thing we haven't tried is the online, so we couldn't really comment on the online because the online servers weren't online for our code. However, I guess coming into it from your point of view, from someone who's going to be running these tournaments, what do you feel the feedback's going to be from the community? What do you feel is going to be the strengths and weaknesses?
So I think a lot of people, at least for online right now, I think a lot of people are pretty excited, but I'm honestly a bit weary because it's like trying to match up all these discordant like rules. And honestly, I think it's going to be a bit of a, just a bit of a mess. But we'll have to see when it happens.
You do have private rooms at least, which is
which is good. That's really good. That's a massive thing. But I think for matchmaking, it's going to be a bit hard. Overall, from like the game entirely, from what I've heard of like people watching videos and that, and just like analyzing the game, a lot of people are really excited. There's a lot of like fervor over like the combos in this game, and it's pretty crazy some of the combos people are pulling off. So I'm really excited to see top level players doing stuff like that in tournament.
And even from the point of view of playing it as a casual, I think World of Light offers something unique. Playing it with friends is still great. You got 8-player melee, you got all the silly modes, even some of the new like weapons are cool. And we'll talk about items don't well. But like even some of those are really fun. It's another success from these guys. It's not a brawl. I think people worried they were going to brawl it.
Yeah.
It is definitely not a brawl. It is definitely worth playing, and it is definitely a lot of fun.
I'm very excited.